under the harsh glow of a police cruiser's red and blue lights. My newly painted front door gleamed like a defiant beacon in the quiet cul-de-sac of Willow Grove, Oregon. It was August 15th, 2024, and I stood there, paint roller in hand, staring at Officer Daniels as he stifled a yawn. He asked if I was the guy with the blatantly offensive scarlet door, his tone suggesting he'd rather be chasing actual criminals than mediating suburban spats. Behind him, my neighbor Susan peered from her window, her phone glued to her ear, eyes glinting with the thrill of victory. Let me rewind. That morning, I'd set out to tackle a simple home project, nothing revolutionary, just a fresh coat of paint for my faded door. After 3 years in this cookie-cutter neighborhood, my only act of defiance had been a slightly overgrown lawn in June. But I was done with the monotony of beige and taupe. I chose red, inspired by the vibrant porch of my childhood home in Idaho. My fiancée, Emma, had warned me, "You know how the HOA is." I brushed it off, thinking a splash of color couldn't possibly spark a war. I was dead wrong. By noon, my phone buzzed with 2 voicemails from Susan, the HOA's self-appointed guardian of aesthetics, and a note slipped under my mat, dripping with passive-aggressive venom. "Dear resident, your door's color violates our community standards. Please repaint in an approved neutral tone immediately or face consequences. Sincerely, Susan Miller, Compliance Officer." Susan was relentless, her binder of rules thicker than a phone book, her daily patrols armed with a camera to catch any deviation. To her, the HOA's earth tone palette was sacred. Undeterred, I finished the second coat, the door now a fiery statement under the summer sun. Susan marched over, her sandals slapping the pavement. "Red is forbidden," she snapped. "It's disruptive, attracts trouble." I quipped if she meant stray cats or delivery drivers, but she was already dialing someone, likely the HOA board or the cops. 10 minutes later, sirens wailed. Officer Daniels, clearly unimpressed, surveyed the scene. "I'm told your door's a public nuisance," he said, glancing at Susan's triumphant smirk across the street. I offered him coffee. He declined, muttering about paperwork. Susan, undaunted, escalated her crusade. She called an emergency HOA meeting, presenting a slideshow of my door like it was evidence in a murder trial, complete with highlighted notes about property value threats. Neighbors shifted uncomfortably, but none dared challenge her. Emma texted me, half laughing, "You're viral on the neighborhood app. Susan says you're tanking the market." Some passers-by gave me secret nods of approval. Others muttered about troublemakers. My door became a battleground for the soul of Willow Grove. Then I found my ace. The HOA bylaws, which I'd studied when I moved in, only restricted colors for new builds, not doors. Susan didn't know, and I let her dig deeper, savoring her overreach. Notices piled up taped to my mailbox, zip-tied to my porch. Emma brought donuts, declaring my yard the neighborhood's new hotspot. Susan rallied her loyalists, her voice shrill about community decay. By Monday, she posted a manifesto online, warning of rogue individualism. Emma, under a pseudonym, fired back, "If red doors are banned, only rebels will have them." The post got 30 likes. Susan retaliated with a $200 daily fine, retroactive, and a non-compliant sign staked in my lawn. It was pure theater, but legally toothless. I threw barbecue, my red door the star. Neighbors came, some openly cheering my defiance. Susan called the cops twice, claiming noise violations and indecent red decorations. The officers, now regulars, grabbed cupcakes and left. But Susan wasn't done. She hired a lawyer, sending a letter threatening court action. The drama hit the local news, a reporter interviewing me on my lawn. "I just like red," I said, as Susan fumed on camera, calling my door a civic disgrace. The story exploded online, splitting the neighborhood into team color and team conformity. A few teens painted their garage teal, and Susan's rants grew apocalyptic. At a tense HOA meeting in Susan's pristine living room, she unveiled the Scarlet Threat, a presentation accusing my door of causing emotional distress. A county inspector, dragged in by Susan, read the bylaws and shrugged. "No violation here," he said. Susan's face matched my door's hue. Flyers appeared, urging residents to stop the red menace. Someone graffitied "conform," misspelled, on my mailbox. I added cameras, sensing Susan's desperation. Neighbors began to rebel blue doors, yellow mailboxes. Susan pushed for a vote to ban bright colors, but it failed spectacularly. At a county hearing, she pleaded, citing sleepless nights from my door's aggression. The clerk dismissed her case, and the room applauded. Summer faded, and so did the frenzy. Susan quieted, redirecting her energy to pool rules. New neighbors, the Clarks, praised my door, saying it felt like home. More doors turned vibrant, and the HOA softened. One evening, Susan approached me, subdued. She apologized, admitting her need for control stemmed from personal loss. We talked, not as enemies, but as neighbors. My door stayed red, a symbol not of rebellion, but of community evolving. It wasn't just paint, it was a stand for freedom, a reminder that sometimes a splash of color can change everything.